Hey Internet friends, today is Monday, January 13th, 2025. At present, firefighters are scrambling to contain 3 active wildfires as the looming threat of the Santa Ana winds are set to tear through Los Angeles this week. So far, these California fires have burned through 40,000 acres, forcing 150,000 residents to leave their homes, claiming 24 lives so far. And everyone's pretty much asking the same thing. Are these fires and their inability to be contained, is it due to incompetence, systemic failure, criminal mismanagement, calculated or deliberate negligence that brought about these devastating fires? Or perhaps a deadly Mazel Tov cocktail of all the aforementioned? And most importantly, how do we stop these once-in-a-century events, which now happen several times a year in the age of acceleration? How do we stop this wrath and ruin from ravaging our own cities, our own towns, our own homes, and affecting our own families? Here's what the media won't tell you about the LA fires. As we talk about the recent fires in LA, it's important to address how California manages its resources and how other states should tread carefully as to not follow suit. The Resnik family, who own the Wonderful Company, has a great deal of power over the water supply in the state. The Wonderful Company has brands like Palm Wonderful, Fiji Water, Justin and Landmark Vineyards, Wonderful Pistachios, and Halo Clementines. So they own a bunch of farmland in the Central Valley through which they have obtained water rights from places like the State Water Project. So in other words, one family holds a large share of California's water. They have some of the oldest or most senior water rights in the state, which means that the Resniks get water first, even during droughts. The Resniks acquired the Kern Water Bank, one of California's largest water reserves, through a controversial privatization deal in 1994. Gaining control of this resource meant to serve the public. They've also put money into high-tech water delivery systems for their properties, which lets them siphon off water even in times of drought. The Resniks get water from the state and then they sell it back to the state's citizens and everyone who's buying Fiji water at the 7-Eleven. And because the Resniks are wealthy and powerful, the family has lobbied for water laws that protect their own interests. And they're able to control their image by buying influence at different publishers and media companies, which is why you're about to see all these newspapers and even why Fortune, of all publications, wrote an article this morning calling everyone who is discussing the billionaire Resnik family an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Because the Resnik family is, of course, Jewish. And y'all know you can't talk about anything wealthy and influential Jewish people do because that means you're anti-Semitic. Even if your house burns down, you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. Fortune, the magazine about billionaires, published and funded by billionaires, writing articles to silence anyone who dares criticize anything about billionaires. Well, it's just so perfect, isn't it?
Let's take care of that. Pistachio. Wait for it.
Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, I am not being paid every time I mention the word pistachios tonight. And as for the rest of Linda's wonderful almonds, halo mandarins, and sweet scarlet grapefruits, so red and juicy you'd swear you were biting into the summer sun itself.
When we bought Fiji water, people weren't worried about traveling over the ocean and, wasting fuel and blah, blah, blah. Later, it became very important, and people used bottled water as the poster child for, the new green movement. Whatever, whether you agree with that or you don't agree with that. But the fact that this water isn't available anywhere else on the planet was a good thing to fall back on, because you can't find water this old that has been safe from the pollutants in the air and the ground, like Fiji water.
But people were talking about the Resnik family and their dirty deeds long before this fire. For example, in an article from Mother Jones published in August of 2016, it discusses how Linda and Stuart Resnik have leveraged their agricultural empire in California during one of the state's worst droughts, touching on the public relations efforts by the Resniks to portray themselves as stewards of the land amidst controversies over water usage and the sustainability of their agricultural practices. Now today, or this week more specifically, I imagine that the Resnik's public relations team is really earning their paycheck. Tell me, why does one couple get to own and control California's water? Do their practices embrace the intent and spirit of the Constitution? In an article from the Gray Zone published in 2018 and titled The Pistachio Wars, how the Resnik snack food fortune is fueling the assault on Iran. Well, in this article, it talks about how the billionaires have used their wealth and influence to bolster their pistachio business, while contributing to U.S. hostility towards Iran. The Resniks have capitalized on the sanctions against Iran, because Iran is historically the world's leading pistachio exporter. With Iran's market access restricted by U.S. sanctions, the Resniks have filled the gap, becoming major players in the American pistachio industry. So if you, an American, have to send your son or your daughter off to fight in wars in the Middle East, you can thank the Resniks for that, as they have lobbied for this tension, caring only for their own profit. It's not like they're sending their sons and their daughters to go fight in these wars. That's something only the Wages send their children to go do. You understand? That's how they view you. So they take this water from California that belongs to California citizens, and they withhold and sell it back to citizens for a profit. Then they take that profit and fund Israel and Israeli aggression in the Middle East, giving money to the Israeli military, the IDF, under the umbrella of their nonprofit organizations and foundations. And then they use their mouthpieces through the media to call themselves philanthropists and good people. To me, behaving this way so selfishly, paying various publications to portray you as a steward of the land, while stoking flames both in California and the Middle East, is treasonous, and it's un-American. It's un-American, and it should not be allowed or tolerated. What do you think, internet friends?
We're going up. There's no water. There's no f***ing water. There's no f***ing water.
We're going to talk about how easy it is for the controllers to enact policies like DEI and hire Bozo the Clown in droves, knowing they'll do a terrible job, being totally incompetent to bring about certain desired outcomes. And we need to discuss how, while this might seem like incompetence when you watch these clips I'm about to show you, that there is someone who is not being shown in these clips who was purposeful about these hires and enacting these policies. After all, you and I both know that the thing this country needs more of is more lesbian firefighters.
I'm super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? So I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only 115 are women right now. She's already looking at ways to change that.
So I want to reach down and bring you up. And that's kind of something that stuck with me to this day.
Part of that work means speaking up for those who can't. Over the last few years, LAFD has dealt with a fair share of controversy, and Larson not afraid to sound the alarm.
I chose to speak out pretty much by myself about the issues of sexism and racism within my department and the need for change. I don't think there's any question that our department is the best at fighting fires.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
How many apparatus do you currently have out of commission?
Right, so I can give you those numbers right here.
Perfect.
We have out-of-service apparatus. We have 40 engines. We have 36 rescue ambulances and 10 of our trucks that are out of service. And you look at, well, how many actually do we have? It's close to 15 to 20% of our fleet that's out of service.
Okay.
John Knox, a hero on many levels, who saved children from burning homes and even helped during 9/11.
You know, you go from everyone thanking you one day for doing your job and coming and helping them in their time of need throughout this pandemic to where now all of a sudden you're a villain.
My job, I feel like I poured my heart into it. I promoted to the rank of engineer, so I got to drive the fire engine. Got to do a lot of amazing things, help a lot of people in the city.
It's a difficult day for Matt Mamone. After nearly 15 years of serving with the LA Fire Department, he was terminated for refusing to take the COVID vaccine without applying for a religious or medical exemption.
Such times of uncertainty really forced me to think and examine my surroundings. The job that I love, the job that I poured my heart and soul into, is being threatened. Anything that gets put into my body is my choice. I refuse. I do not comply.
With the community grand marshal, the first openly gay person to lead the LAFD and the first woman. How does it feel to be the community grand marshal?
It is an absolute honor. Look at this amazing community coming out, and I have the honor to represent the LAFD.
I want to also be clear that I have, over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters.
A difficult day for Matt Mamone. After nearly 15 years of serving with the LA Fire Department, he was terminated for refusing to take the COVID vaccine without applying for a religious or medical exemption.
We're going up. There's no water. There's no f***ing water. There's no f***ing water.
We ran out of water in the first tank about 4:45 p.m. yesterday. We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m. this morning. Those tanks help with the pressure on the fire hydrants in the hills of Palisades. And because we were pushing so much water in our trunk line, and so much water was being used before it could get to the tanks, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide water in our trunk line.
Put out a letter to DWP asking, how is it that there was no water to fight this fire in certain places? We were here, and basically these places just burned and there was nothing that could be done.
And would it have mattered? I mean, let's be honest about it here. I talked to all my experts, all the firefighters I've been with. They said we could add an engine on every house in 90-mile-an-hour winds with all the pressure in the world. So you got to be realistic about that as well.
The 117 million gallon reservoir was found empty during the wildfire due to ongoing maintenance. The reservoir had been closed since February of 2024 for repairs to its cover, but the maintenance work wasn't completed in time. As a result of this incompetence on every level, which I believe is purposeful. And then we had these water supply issues. Fire hydrants ran dry in higher elevation areas, severely impacting firefighting efforts. This was in part because the reservoir wasn't even working, it was empty, which led to low water pressure and no supply to the hydrants. Then we have Governor Gavin Newsom, who is an idiot, who has all of these California management climate change water resource policies that he's enacted. And this is how he's behaving.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has, around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be.
Hi, my name is Ted Ross, Chief Information Officer at the City of Los Angeles. As you know, we live in a world full of urban challenges. From traffic congestion that takes our time and pollutes our environment, to natural disasters that threaten the safety of our communities. To address these challenges, Los Angeles looks to smart city technology that can positively transform our urban environment.
And that, Internet friends, is probably part one of what the media won't tell you about the LA fires. What do you think, Internet friends? You know I always look forward to your comments. Please subscribe so you get notified for my videos, which everybody's always commenting. They don't get notified. I don't show up in their subscription feed. Anyway, I pray for all of you. I pray for everyone affected by the fire. I'm still thinking about Lahaina. I'm thinking about Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, parts of Virginia that were affected by Hurricane Helene, and how these once-in-a-lifetime sort of events keep happening. It's the age of acceleration. So anyway, please subscribe and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.